The truth is, I thought in honor of the time of year that Matt would be serving barley bread.
You wouldn't be able to chew it all.
Why do I mean barley bread?
Because it was one of the...
The Oma offering. The Oma offering which is offered on Pesach, and we're in the...
That's the earliest maturity.
In the midst, actually, not just the midst, we're actually in the middle of the counting of the Oma. There are 49 days. What's halfway through 49?
24.
Yeah. The 25th day is the middle.
25th, right, and we're right there.
Hayom Chamisha Ve'esrim Yom. Today we're 25 days of the Omer. Now I had a major question. I always have many things. Just imagine you were asked to give a name to this time of year, counting between 49 days between Pesach and Shavuos. Right? What would you call it?
Resurrection.
Yes, Sfiras Matan Torah, Sfiras Kabbalah Satorah, Sfiras Shavuos. Right? Why call it Sfiras Ha'omer? Okay? And I'll ask you another question. What does the word Omer mean? What does the word Omer mean? So I've seen some translations, in fact, how did you translate it, Yaakov? Ha'omer, Sfiras Ha'omer. What does Omer mean?
It comes with the Omer, it's a weight,
Oh, so I told the measure, good, you liked him wearing my shirt. But otherwise, maybe people say Omer means the bundle, right? Because Omer means a bundle, right? A bundle of, it says if you harvest your grain, you forget a bundle in the field. So the word Omer means a bundle. However, Rashi says, Omer also means a tenth of an ephah, which is the amount, the quantity of flour, right, of barley flour which they had to bring as the korban. Now the question is, why is it that the Torah gives the same term for a bundle of grain, a bundle of a bundle of wheat, a bundle of grain, the raw grain, which is the stalks with the kernels and then the husk and everything else. And the same name is given for the measure, where the other time actually we find this term Omer used is by the mon.
Oh yes.
It says, that's where the Torah says, Ha'omer asiris ha'efahu. The Omer, right, the measure Omer was a tenth of an ephah. Now, another strange point is that when you have asiris ha'ephah, right, the term used in 99% of cases in the Torah uses the word isorim. You have for every mincha, every man says Shosha Esreinim, Shnei Esreinim, Isor and Echad. The Torah has a term already for it. So why doesn't now the Torah use over here a term for bringing a korban, a meal offering, and the Torah, instead of using the word Isorim, which you use everywhere else, the Torah says, no, Omer. So it tells you bring an Omer measure, which is really the same as an Isorim. So why does the Torah use a different term? And also this term is a term which also refers to something else as well, i.e. to a bundle of grain. So what I want to explain is as follows. The term, using the terminology, the Torah Dafka uses a terminology for Omer, meaning a tenth of an ephah. Dafka uses the same terminology as Omer, meaning a bundle. And the reason is as follows. It's in fact, the Omer offering had something very unique about it. Whenever somebody would want to bring, even when the tzibur would bring a meal offering, a mincha, okay, there was no requirement how much the original amount had to be. Meaning, you could bring fine flour, it had to be ground, and it had to be sifted, whatever, but there was no requirement how much the original amount had to be. When it came to the Omer offering, Gemara says they had to be made of, so actually it's a difference of opinion, but according to the Chachamim, it had to be made of 3 saw, which means a full ephah. Meaning you had to take grain 10 times the amount you wanted to end up your final product. It means it had to be so well ground and sifted and refined that from the original amount of an ephah, 3 saw of grain, of kernels, you had to whittle it down that your end product was 1/10 of an ephah of flour. And only by the Omer is there this requirement, this stipulation that you have to have a certain amount at the beginning, and the end product is, you start off with 3 ephah, 3 saw, which is an ephah, and you end up with 1/10 of an ephah. This Omer, which is 1/10. So I wanted to explain as follows, and this is really the essence of what Sfiras HaOmer is all about. Taking the rough, raw product and refining it as much as we can. This is what counting the Omer is all about. Chazal say that the Omer offering is brought actually from barley. That's why I started off in saying we should have had barley bread today. Okay? Because that was the Omer was offered up from barley. On Shavuos, we end up, we offer another meal offering, and that's actually the only time we offer a meal offering, which is chometz, but that's made from wheat. It's the first wheat flour offering of that year's harvest.
Also Korban Todah is also from Chometz.
Sorry?
Korban Todah is also from Chometz.
That's true, yes, correct, right. But I'm talking of the public offerings.
Oh.
Of the public offering is only the only one which is a public offering is the Shtei Lechem, right? The 2 loaves brought on Shavuos. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. Anyway.
Because of that we don't say no at Pesach.
What?
Because of that we don't see these words for that.
Okay, right, correct. And also another reason, that's also the reason we don't say Love Yom Kippur, because we don't eat Bechlau. Okay. Akoponim, yes, so the idea is as follows. Chazal say that on Pesach we bring barley, the carbon from barley, which is like animal food, okay? And on Shavuos we bring a carbon from wheat, which is human food, food of man.
But so 2 lechems on the start of
No, so the Omer offering, which is brought on Pesach, is from barley,
right.
and the 2 loaves, which are brought on Shavuos, those are from wheat. And the idea behind it is that when we start off the Omer on Pesach, we're like animals. In what respect? We're coarse. We're unrefined. We haven't refined our characters yet. We're coarse. I guess you say it like a bull in a china shop, right?
Oh.
Like animals, right? No development of our character. However, when we come to Shavuos, right, we've worked on ourselves, we've refined ourselves over the 49 days, till finally on Shavuos, we're ready to accept the Torah. We become mentioned, become like people, right? Refined people, right? That's the idea. What?
Every day we go up and
every day when we take it. In fact, because I'll say that, Roshim say that on each day there are 48, the Torah is acquired with 48 ways to wisdom, meaning 48 character traits, which a person has worked on each of those days, and each day you should refine a character trait, culminating on the 49th day. This guy said Chazor and all of them, and on the 50th day Shavuos, then he's ready to receive the Torah. So that's the idea behind the Omer. We take the bundle, the coarse, unrefined bundle of grain, and we refine it and refine it and refine it till we get just the 10th of the ephah, which is ready to be brought as a korban mincha. Same idea as we work through from Pesach to Shavuos. We Kavayochel, when we left Egypt, we were unrefined. We'd just been gone through tens of years of
Subjugation.
slavery, hard labor, right? You take a guy who's just been out of the coal mine, right? And you say, okay, now you're going to become a maths professor, right? He's not up to it, right? Kol shekena, achas kama v'kama, right? That we talk about becoming the Am Hashem, the people who are accepting the Torah, Taryag mitzvahs, learning Torah. So that's something which is not, a person can achieve just like turning himself around overnight. So therefore, Kosh Baruch gave us these 49 days. So each one of us, as Chazal say, that every Yom Tov and every time of year, when it comes around, it's not just commemorating what was then, but each time of year has that koyach, has that power in it for us to repeat and duplicate what was done at the original time. For instance, Pesach is the time of Geula, of redemption. So similarly, the Pesach Nigalu, the Pesach Hasidim Nigal. Pesach is a time of Geula, right? And that was symbolized by the fact that actually Klal Yisrael went out of Egypt, and Be'ez Hashem in the future, Klal Yisrael will also be released with the final redemption. Similarly, the time between Pesach and Shavuos is a time for character development. Just like when Klal Yisrael came out of Egypt, they developed their character from being slaves to prepare themselves to be proper human beings, proper mention to be able to receive the Torah. So too we every year have that. This time of year is auspicious. Is a time especially set aside that we can develop our characters. And Be'ez Hashem, with each day's development, with each day's building one on the previous day, Be'ez Hashem, we shall be able to reach, Be'ez Hashem, Shavuos, fully developed in our characters, and we should be able to accept the Torah in all its aspects. And Be'ez Hashem, and all you guys coming here to Tsama Nafshi, I've already done the first step, right? Coming to learn. Bring your friends, reveal to them all the joy, as I say, I really enjoyed your nusach over here of the figure. It says, experience the pure joy of exploring the Torah. And besides, in the original language in which it was given, I agree with it as well. But even without that,
I think that came from Rav Fairman's wife. I can't take credit for that.
okay. But either way, experience the pure joy of exploring the Torah. And with each day,
We gave him an eighth and he took a series.
okay, very good. Beseda, Be'ez Hashem.
We gave you
We
this
should all be
much.
zeicha, Be'ez
It
Hashem,
down
to
to
be.
it.
Now we're halfway through. We may continue to build ourselves up, Be'ez Hashem, to Kabbalah Satira.
Strength to strength.
Be'ez Hashem, we should have a full and genuine Kabbalah Satira, Be'ez Hashem.
Amen.
Be well grounded.
Yeah.